Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and today I'm going to be reviewing Bargain Basement Bathysphere, designed by Scott Slimiani. This is a push your luck roll and write where you are piloting a bathysphere of questionable reliability and going on adventures under the sea. All right, so this is Bargain Basement Bathysphere. This is the WizKids production of the game. This is originally a print and play on Board Game Geek that got a lot of buzz and that has been quite beloved for years. And so this is what it looks like in its published form, and as you can see, it's quite cute. The box seems a little bit different just because it kind of opens, I guess, like a pizza box almost. But you pop it open, and in here we have like the nice version of all the components that you were scrounging around for in your house if you played the print and play version of this, which I experimented with slightly, but I did not get very far with it. So I'm just sort of treating this like it's my first real review. So you're gonna get your dice, your marker, your cute little bathysphere, and you're gonna have a pad that shows you some of the little mini games that will pop up as you play. So there are little parts of the campaign that will become available to you throughout the game, and not everything's available right at once. You're also going to get 3 different boards to play on, and you're going to get instructions in the little campaign book for how to do each stage. The first 2 are super easy and simple, just to kind of teach you the mechanisms of the game, and then stuff gets added as you go. I'm just going to go ahead and open up Discovery Cove since it's right here. But essentially, this is what you get. You are going to receive some instructions about what is actually available to you for each adventure. So sometimes, most of the time, in fact, you cross off all the rerolls. You'll cross off these little oxygen tanks up top. And you're also not going to necessarily have access to the complete route that is printed on any particular board. Instead, you're going to get instructions for what parts to circle that are, in fact, the route for the scenario that you're playing. So maybe I'll end up circling some sort of shape in the middle, and that's actually where my bathysphere is going to be able to dive. As you can see, all the spaces have sort of different fillings. Some are blank, some have little cute sea creatures, some have special actions, and then other ones have penalties. And essentially the way this game works is that you'll put your bathysphere in the starting space, you roll your dice, and these dice numbers are now the ones that are allocated for you to use during your journey. So you're going to want to use them both to make progress and to kind of control where you land. So for example, if I decide to use the 2, then my bathysphere will come down 1, 2, and I'll get to cross off one of the negative things on this space without actually having to do the action. However, if I instead wanted to use the 4, and I came down 1, 2, 3, 4, I would cross off this action, but I would have to choose one of these to do, so take a stress or lose an oxygen, and I would have to pick one and cross that off. So bad things happen to you if you cross over the spaces where they happen, but you can stave off a bad consequence if you land on its space. Meanwhile, you're going to try to land exactly on the spaces where good things happen. So cute fish, squid, sea creatures to collect, saving divers, doing salvage and ocean floor point actions. Those are all good, and therefore you're also trying to use your dice to land on them directly in order to get those benefits. Meanwhile, you're also trying to budget bad things that happen to you from the spaces that you skip over, from re-rolling your dice. You lose a little oxygen every time you do a re-roll, etc., etc. So if you run out of oxygen, it's game over. If you damage your ship too many times, so your dice pool is going to shrink as you go down and accumulate damage. And of course, if you get fully damaged, game over. And then you also have a very nice long stress track, but if you get fully stressed out, it's game over. And also at various intervals, stress causes you to take more damage, so you can also get hurt on this meter by progressing too far down this one. So essentially, you're trying to budget your dice, control where you land, and try not to let too many bad things happen to you before you manage to make it all the way back up to the surface. You are, by the way, also penalized for landing on spaces where you've already put a mark, so be careful out there. So the game itself is quite simple, but as the campaign progresses, neat little things get added in that I think are quite charming. And actually, the whole game has quite a bit of charm, as we'll talk about in the final thoughts. All right, so now for some final thoughts. Overall, I really do like Bargain Basement Bathysphere, and I think it has a lot of charm. It is a nice little solo campaign, and if you like roll and writes, if you like push your luck games, I do think overall it will make you happy. So let's get into some specifics of that, because I think talking about how those specifics play out will help you decide whether Bargain Basement Bathysphere is a game for you. So first, the good. I really love that this game constantly is adding something new from stage to stage of the campaign, because where mechanisms can get quite repetitive, this game does a really good job of always giving you something new to either think about or work towards so that it keeps you moving through the campaign. I think it's also very helpful that each of the scenarios is short. You know, the play time that's printed on the side of the box is 15 minutes. You don't have to spend forever whenever you get this game out playing the campaign. You can actually instead finish relatively quickly, or, you know, play a couple of different scenarios in one night and then pack it in. So this game is very good about not overstaying its welcome, and that's something that I really appreciate. And again, that's also true mechanically because there's always something new getting added in. That said, to fully appreciate that, you do have to make it through the first two scenarios. Really, the first and second scenarios are mostly the same, and it'll let you jump from stage 1 to stage 3 if you do well the first time. So do take advantage of that. You are not missing anything if you do fine in scenario 1, but then you skip to scenario 3. If you're the sort of person who only ever plays a game once or twice, I will say that you're not going to see the best aspects of Bargain Basement Bathysphere. This game is short. Each session is short. The campaign is short. But you do need to really play well into it in order to get its full rewards. If you just kind of sample it at the beginning and you're like, yeah, there's not a lot to it, it's boring, that is kind of true because the game hasn't built itself all the way up yet, but also you're never going to see it at its best. That said, if you do not like push your luck and do not like dice allocation, then nothing of that nature is going to change very much throughout the game. So if, you know, the basic gameplay overview I gave you doesn't sound fun, then the game's not magically going to become fun for you. That's just not your style of game. The other thing I really love about this game is that I think that the rulebook is super well written and the campaign is super well written. There's just a certain attitude to this game that is hilarious to me. So reading about, like, well, you know, if you choose to rescue these goofy divers that get lost, or, you know, your aunt somehow magically has an empty set of aquaria because she is allergic to fish, but she's died and left it to you. Yay! Everything that happens in the little storyline of the game is so tongue-in-cheek and so silly that I could not help but enjoy it. In some ways, I'll say that the written component of the game really makes it. The mechanisms themselves are fine, but they don't have nearly as much life to them without the text in the rulebook as you play through. So also make sure that you're embracing that, because if you don't, you won't have as much fun. So all of that said, I think that Bargain Basement Bathysphere is cute. I think it is enjoyable. I think it's absolutely worth playing through the campaign if you like solo roll and writes and just the general gameplay premise sounds good to you. But I will say I'm not really sure this is one for the ages or anything like that. This is not a game that I expect to come back to over and over and over again now that I've played the campaign. It was fun while it lasted, and now I feel finished. And that's okay. You know, that's, I think, actually part of the normal game life cycle for most games that you play. But I do want to kind of front that. I really enjoyed this. I don't know if I would enjoy it again and again and again over the course of the next several years or anything like that. But for what it is, it's super cute. I cannot give a good comparison between the print version and the print and play because I never really got too deep into the print and play. I went through a phase where I really thought I was going to play a lot of print and play games, and I just never did. I think they're great. I just never actually managed to latch on for the most part. So if you want to do a print and play comparison to decide if you want to buy this game versus print and play it, I'm going to have to leave you to discover that on your own, as one of our favorite board game video people likes to say. But after a quick look online, I'm seeing this game priced in like the kind of $20, $21 range for the most part. I do think there's absolutely enough campaign in the box to justify that price. So if you just want an all-in-one, nicely done, charming package, then I think at that price point, then you're good to go. So again, if you just want a fun little roll and write, one that'll entertain you for a while and be charming and be a nice little tongue-in-cheek adventure about piloting a very questionable little bathysphere under the sea, then Bargain Basement Bathysphere is absolutely for you. I enjoyed the time I spent with it. I thought it was very enjoyable, and I would absolutely play more from this designer. So that's what I have to say about it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, support me on Patreon if you're feeling generous. And most of all, Happy gaming.